Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you today. Thank you very much for kicking this off with us. And we are so honored and privileged to have you join us in the Satisfied Success Business Academy and take part in our incredible systems that we built just for you to get your business off the ground in the most easy, seamless, and satisfying way possible. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Alanna Kaivalya, and in just a little bit, my compatriot, my incredible back-end wizard, the mechanic with the most, Aaron Paul will be joining us, and it's he and I that have developed all of this for you based on my decade plus years of working with women in order to bring them into the place where they can create a truly sovereign business for themselves. Something that not just is scalable and successful, but something that allows us to lead our lives in the best way possible and really have the financial foundation to make the best decisions possible in our lives. One thing that I know after having struggled for many, many years, not just building my business, but in the financial depths and doldrums, is that when we are financially compromised as women, we have very difficult choices ahead of us. Now, our lives as women are never easy. Our choices are never easy simply because we're women. But when we don't have access to the kind of financial sovereignty that allows us to make the best choices possible, we are more compromised than our masculine counterparts. And this is something I know to be true. This is something that I solve in terms of problems on many levels. I'm here to encourage and inspire women to walk a path of satisfaction. And that's exactly what I've done with my most recent book, The Way of the Satisfied Woman, as well as my work at thesatisfiedwoman.com and right here at satisfiedsuccess.com. It's why I started this Satisfied Success Business Academy with Erin. And it cannot be more exciting to me to bring this to you. And I want to give you just a little bit of background as to why I'm doing this, who I am, and what this really does for you and means for you. Back in 2015, so that's a long time ago now, way before having an online business was cool, way before anybody had access to these incredible programs that exist nowadays to make creating a business easier, I was putting things online. I was in the yoga and spirituality industries, and I was the very first person in the entire world to put a yoga teacher training online, and it launched in 2015. Now, back in those days, fancy programs like the one that we're giving to you, the Go High Level program, this business in a box that we've built that Erin has really finely curated just for you, didn't exist. And so I had to patchwork different programs together. The marketing concepts didn't exist. The templates didn't exist. The help didn't exist. I created it all from scratch. And I can't tell you what an overwhelmingly grueling process that was. Now, I did have the vision that going online, being online would be the wave, the way of the future. I just knew it. But I was such an early adopter that I was grinding away on things that had never been created before. And I really didn't have help. And I know what that's like to try and do it all yourself, to get into these systems, to write every email, to create every automation, to develop every funnel, to design every page, to tweak it, to test it, to launch it, to try to drive ads traffic to it. I was doing it all. And I mean, even now, just like the thought of it and the talking about it gives me a bit of a headache. And it was so draining, not just because it was a lot of work, but because it wasn't my work. It wasn't my soul's work. You see, I most likely, like you, am a creative human. As a feminine woman, I exist and thrive in creativity. That's how I'm able to write books. Now, before this one, the last book I wrote was in 2015 before I started the business. Because before I started the business, I had the creative capacity. to design educational programs, to write books, to get my PhD, to teach people, to work with people, to inspire them. And then I built the business that was based off of all that and yes, made money off of all that. But the development and the running of the business was so taxing. And it took me so far out of my zone of genius that I didn't create anything new for another 10 years. Now, in all that time, I was researching and figuring out exactly, what it was that I wanted to do with my life, what I wanted to be when I grew up. Let's call it that. And I had fallen deep into the trenches of study around what it meant to be a feminine and modern woman in this world right now. Because thankfully, we have more power, choice, agency, and opportunity now than we have ever had in history. You and I, my friend, have greater opportunity right now than we have ever had in history. Even my mother didn't have opportunities and choices that we have now. The actual ability to create our own sovereign business on our own didn't exist until mere decades ago for us as women. So this is a tremendous time. But I also know that typically the way that we run and create businesses is not in alignment with our feminine values. Typically, the creation and running of a business is based on success at all costs, burning yourself out, running it to the detriment of everything else in your life. It compromises you. I struggled for years with an autoimmune disorder, and I can't tell you that I was never so sick as when I was developing that first business. And realizing what it means to be as a woman in this world, I threw myself into the studies of femininity and masculinity. And that's really where my work lies now, in empowering women to reclaim their femininity, their sovereignty, their satisfaction in this modern day world. And one of the greatest ways we can do that is to bring our creative capacity out into the world in a way that it brings impact and income into the lives of us and the people that we touch. A woman who can have her own money, her own bank account, her own agency around cash flow is a powerful woman. Because up until basically like 5 minutes ago, men controlled all our money. Did you know that a woman couldn't have her own checking account without a male co-signer until 1987? The fact that we can not only have our own checking accounts, but our own mortgages, our own businesses, our own creative ideas out there and complete control over them is new. And I want that for you. So when I decided that this was the most important thing to do, that giving women the place, the community to lean into this, the structure to build something sovereign, I actually sold my last business. I blew up my entire life and I dedicated myself to this work, to creating pathways to satisfaction for women. Now, that did require me to build another business. And into this new business, The Satisfied Woman and Satisfied Success, I'm infusing everything that I've learned about what it means to be a woman in this modern day age. And I'm leveraging the things that I've learned and already developed in order to make this not only easier on myself and more aligned with who I am as a feminine woman, but also to bring it to you in that way. Now, lo and behold, I've been working with my friend Aaron for years. And he and I reconnected, and I was telling him what I was up to now and telling him that, one of the things that I have been doing for the last decade is working with women on developing their own businesses. I have a lot of expertise after having now done this twice and being in this industry for, since 2015, on how to create an incredibly impactful business from a woman's soul and develop the messaging of it that brings it to the market in such a way that truly makes both impact and income. I've worked with women on developing coaching businesses, online course businesses, memberships, where they have a business that then is scalable and tailored to their life and lifestyle. And in speaking with Erin, I said, look, I do this all the time. I work with women all the time, but their capacity is for creativity. And when it comes to the tech, they just fall apart. As soon as I assign them, oh, hey, find the platform that works for you, create the funnel for this flow, give me a lead magnet, write these emails, they kind of, you can start to see the steam coming out of their ears and the wheels just grind to a halt. And he looked at me and he said, Alanna, why don't we just give them that? Why don't we just do that for them? We have this tech, this go high level business. And he said, I can create it so that they essentially just open up the box and all the tech is done for them. All the systems and automations are done for them. And ladies, as the person who is squarely in her creative center and space, my mind was blown. And I said, we have to do this. We have to do this. There's no other choice. If I truly want sovereignty for my satisfied women, if I want to give them the best tools possible to bring their creative passion forward in a way that they can stay in that creativity, stay in their feminine flow, which is how we attract abundance and prosperity. Women don't make money, we attract money. We attract abundance. As the feminine, we are receptive. And when we stay in that receptivity, when we stay in that creative space, the money flows in. As soon as we shift into that masculine energy of chasing it, going after it, striving, trying, doing all the tech and the brainstorms that Erin is so great at, we shift out of that creative space that is the foundation for our prosperity, abundance, and sovereignty. We can't be in our magic when we're doing all this other stuff. So we've done all this other stuff for you. And we're essentially giving it to you right here. And not only are we giving you the business, the tech, the systems, the structure for you to just fill in, and Erin's going to show you exactly how that works here in a moment. What I know about women is that we thrive in community, that we need to talk about this, and that my role and that my work is to create a supportive space for sovereignty to be heralded and celebrated. And that's exactly what the Satisfied Success Business Academy is. It's our space. It's our space as women to shout from the rooftops how powerful we are. It's our space to share our greatest gifts, our ideas, our brainstorms, and to support each other in that. It's our space to ask for help and to know that we will receive it. Because I'm here, Erin's here, and soon many women will be here. It is no longer time for competition between us. There is plenty to go around, and I cannot wait to see what happens when you unleash your brilliance on the world and serve maybe another woman even in this community with your gifts. It's our time to raise each other up, to adjust each other's crowns, or in my case, cowboy hats, and to make sure that as we achieve sovereignty for ourselves, we're supporting others in doing it as well. Now, you may have noticed so far in this little introduction here that I use over and over this word, this term, sovereignty. And I love this term, and I keep holding this book up. I'm very proud of it, by the way, The Way of the Satisfied Woman, which talks about satisfaction on every level in a woman's life. But the final chapter is about ascending to your throne as a queen. And a queen is a ruler of her body, right? Not just her physical body, but her communal body, everyone around her. She is the sovereign. She's the one everyone looks to for that inspiration. She's the one everyone serves with support. She's the one her community cherishes. And that seat of being in the seat of the queen is so important for every woman. And I want every woman to know it and have it. And it's not a seat of control. It's not a seat of imposition. It's a seat of relaxation. It's a seat of community. It's a seat where her yes And her no matters. And to be sovereign means we get to choose what works for us and say no to what doesn't. And one of the things that doesn't work for any woman is saying yes to everything. Overdoing, overachieving, overstriving, overworking, giving ourselves away, doing everything for everyone else and ourselves at all times, at all costs, and at the greatest cost to ourself, to our health, to our mindset, our well-being, our stress levels. Our value does not lie in how much we do and give ourselves away. Our value lies in our receptivity and how much we attract. And when we stay in this seat, this sovereign seat, and we bring in the help, the abundance, the services we need, when you open your business in a box and we've given it to you, it's all done, you'll feel that. And that's what I want us all to feel here. Because, girl, I know you're tired. I know. I know you're tired. I work with women one-on-one in private coaching, and I hear the exhaustion. When I do other live broadcasts and I invite people to chime in with, "Are you tired?" Everyone raises their hand. I've been there. I built that business. I survived that marriage. I've been through that abuse. I understand. We're here to do it differently. So breathe into that. We're not overdoing it here. What I don't want with this business academy is to teach you all of the things that you can do so you can keep overdoing them. I actually want you to do less. I want to create more ease, more flow for you in a business. I want you to create the business that you can run, the one that feels good, the one that scales up when you need it, and the one that just runs in the background when you need to take a break. Because one of the most glorious things about having your own business that makes you money is that you can handle anything. I lived for 16 years in New York City, and when I got there, I was just a yoga teacher, slogging it, going uptown, downtown, across town, everywhere town, for pennies an hour to teach a few people sometimes who would show up. And I remember the difficulty of having $1.71 in my bank account for 10 days and trying to figure out how to get to my next paycheck on that money. Thank God I had a free Metro card. I went down to the bodega on the corner. I bought a carrot, a bouillon cube, I think a potato, and I made soup and I stretched it for 7 days. And I went through Time Out New York and circled all of the free things I could keep myself entertained with until I got the next paycheck. Now, I've been through that and worse. I've had big emergencies. I've been behind on rent. I've filed for bankruptcy. I've had health problems. And I don't state that as some kind of badge of honor. I state that as a recognition that I know that you go through those things too. And money is great when we can buy fancy outfits and take wonderful vacations. And yeah, sure, post it on Instagram and all that stuff and show it off. But that's not the measure of sovereignty. The true measure of sovereignty is being able to handle your shit. That when emergencies arise, when the kid gets sick, when the dog needs surgery, that you don't bat an eye and that you can take care of it. Because that kind of stress, that kind of pressure is debilitating. And for the woman who already has difficult choices in her life anyway, that kind of difficulty is not something that I wish on anyone. I remember those first months when my business finally took off and I had money coming in. I remember the first month I made $25,000 and it was quick. It happened quick. I went from, I think the most I'd ever made with my online business before that was like somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. And then something shifted. I finally got the messaging right. I finally got the marketing right. And then within 8 weeks, I went from almost nothing behind on rent to making 25 grand a month. And the release of the pressure, the release of the stress was like unlike anything I'd ever imagined was possible. I didn't even imagine that for myself. I just wanted to be okay. But the ability to catch up on my bills, the ability to actually start putting some money away, the ability to pay off my credit cards, the ability to sign up for sailing school, something that I'd always wanted to do but was always too broke to endeavor, was like magic. I didn't even know I could dream that big. But now I know. And not only do I dream that for myself, I dream it for you. So when I say that I started this from my heart, I did. I did. Aaron and I aren't collaborating on this as some, get rich quick technique. We're doing this because I know the importance of empowering women in this way. I know that importance. I know the chance and the opportunity that we have right now, and I cannot be more grateful. I cannot be more grateful to be able to bring this to you and to serve you and to work with you and to see what you create because you are going to create magic. You are going to create impact and you are going to create income with your work. And we're dedicated to helping you. Me on the messaging, marketing, magic side, and Aaron on the tech and the business and the systems side. Because each of us wants to stay in our zone of genius and we want you to stay in yours. So, with that, I do think it might be time to introduce my incredible partner in crime, Mr. Aaron Paul. I'm the vibe and he is the wiring. You ready? Take it away, Aaron.
I don't think I should take it away because that was so good. I'm just gonna piggyback and ride off of your momentum
I
here.
mean, I think that you should, but like the reality is, this is what I'm talking about with our women here is like this is the kind of magic that women bring. Right? This is the things that we're able to do, and we can't do what you do. I mean, we can. Look, I slogged through it. I did it, but at great cost to myself. So, I know that you're here and I trust you and I love you, and we've been working together for years, and I wouldn't be doing this with anybody else. I don't trust anybody else. I don't love anybody else. I trust, and ladies, little secret here, I have worked with many, many people in this industry over the last decade. There's a reason why I chose Aaron. There's a reason why we're here, and there's a reason why we're offering you this program and this business in a box in this way. Because he's got a decade plus behind us of not only what doesn't work, but what does. And we're just going to give you what works, right?
That's the key right there, man. We've made all the mistakes, haven't we?
All of
We've
the
been through
mistakes,
the
Aaron. We've
yeah,
made literally all of the mistakes.
yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
why don't you work your tech magic a little bit? Perhaps you'll, I don't know, share your screen or do whatever it is that you do, and I'll let you have the floor.
Yeah, let's kind of go through it and one of the things that will be I will constantly reiterate is don't overwhelm this or don't get overwhelmed by all
Yeah.
this stuff and do not overcomplicate it. Uh, One thing that everybody is prone to do, and I think it's just something that entrepreneurs do because I don't know, maybe we're just gluttons for punishment, man. We tend to overcomplicate everything and make things more difficult and kind of get lost in the weeds. We don't just get into the weeds, we get lost in the weeds. The
Hmm.
problem with that is it brings everything to a screeching halt. We
And
need
I've seen that
to,
over and over, Aaron. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like
Mhm.
when working with women in private coaching, they have incredible business ideas, really wonderful things that need to get out to the world. And then they get stuck with exactly what it is that we're doing for them here.
Absolutely. And everybody does. I mean,
Yep.
everybody that I've literally ever worked with, I'm constantly wrangling people in, and it's like, hey, we haven't finished this one thing. Let's stay on track and finish this before we start talking about the next thing that we're going to do. And at the end of the day, all that we're really doing here, okay, the secret sauce that I try to put into all of this is an automated system to keep us out of the weeds, to prevent human error, to prevent us from having to constantly do all of the work that keeps us out of our zone of genius. And that's what I learned from you a very long time ago. I didn't even, I never heard that term before, zone of genius, until you said it in one of our group calls
You're
way back
welcome.
in the day. But it's profoundly important because we all do. We have that thing that we're inspired to do, that we enjoy doing, and because of that, we tend to be really, really good at it.
Mhm.
And recognizing your own zone, I think, is really, really important. I can say, like, I never, until I was really self-aware of, what I was actually good at and what I'm not good at. That was the point that I actually started to find real success, but more importantly, real happiness, because I wasn't trying to be good at things that, number one, I didn't like doing, and number two, I wasn't any good at.
Right.
So I'm very transparent about, look, I discovered very late in life, I'm not a good entrepreneur. I'm really not. I'm a terrible CEO. I'm a really good marketer. And if I just stay in my lane, man, things are easier and I'm a lot happier and I can help people a lot more. Um, so that's what I'm going to do today, is stay in my lane and show you all the cool stuff that we can do for you, and where to find it and where to turn everything on. um, and I'm not gonna, you're gonna notice there's a lot of places, there's a lot of universes over here on the left-hand side. And a lot of these we're just gonna ignore. We're just gonna pretend like they're not there because we don't need them right now. Um, this software, like, let me try to think of a best way. If you can dream it, it's probably possible in here. Okay. There's literally very little limitations on what we're able to create, what we're able to build, and what we're able to automate. But we don't want to, we want to focus on the foundation. I think of everything in business as building a house. Whether it's our funnel, whether it's our ads, whatever it is, we're building a house, and we got to first start with that real solid foundation, right? Because if you start building, you don't have that foundation set, everything crumbles eventually. Everything just falls apart. So the foundation of the software is, number one, integrate the most important things that we're going to be using on a daily basis. As soon as you log in, you'll probably come directly to the Launchpad. Think of this as like your checklist of things that you should probably integrate right away. And what they are is Google My Business, Facebook, which is also Facebook and Instagram, um, connecting your web chat or live chat widget, integrating WhatsApp. Now, if you're not doing like international business, then you don't have to do WhatsApp. It hasn't really caught on in the U.S. as much, but if you are doing international, very important. Set up Stripe or some other payment processor. Um, and then WordPress, if you currently have a website that's built on WordPress and we just want to quickly bring it over, connect it. Otherwise, ignore it. And then, very last thing, add your teammates. Anybody that needs to have access to your CRM, add them into here, set up their permissions, and away you go. Um, all of the videos, the walkthrough videos that I publish, I try to keep them super, super brief. Anywhere between 3 to 10 minutes is my goal with every video. And right at the very bottom of the left-hand side, you will see private community, and that will drive you over to the Business Academy, where we put all of the videos And also, when you need support, if you have a question, right, everything is going to happen within that private community. You have uh, access to both Alanna and myself, and then also my team is active in there for any really technical stuff that maybe I can't answer. They'll be in there as well. Um, the universes that you're going to live in within the software is your contacts and your opportunities. Um, Contacts, very simply put, just everybody, bird's eye view of everybody that is in your CRM, your customer relationship management system. All of your leads, all of your customers, all of your prospects are within this view, and you can filter them out by tag or by what pipeline they're in. Now that speaking of pipeline, that brings me over to opportunities. If you're not familiar with what a pipeline is, think of it as your sales process in a visually laid out format where we are sorting our prospects or our leads or our potential clients by what stage in the sales process they are in. It's also a way of knowing, let's say that we're sending out 5,000 emails with an offer, right? Well, we need to know who's paying attention to us and who's ignoring us, who's opening our emails, who's opening and clicking our emails, who has not opened the last 10 emails that we've sent, and who is. That's how we sort, all right? Segmentation, it's a very important word, and it's just a fancy word that means separating your list based on their behavior, how close they are to becoming a customer or a client. That's segmentation. And it's very important in our sales process. And if there's particular stuff that you want me to go directly to, Alanna, just let me know um, where you want me to go or where we don't need to focus on. Um,
I
for
think just
instance,
focusing on the setup is perfect for now because, we're going to do some more work with them to show them what a pipeline is, I think. And
mhm,
maybe one of the ways I know, at least that I think about it, like I don't think in terms of necessarily pipeline, but like how do we get somebody into our ecosystem? So when I talk about building a business, which I'll do more in depth, obviously, in the Business Academy, but quick overview here is you want to attract, the feminine is attractive. So you want to attract your customers, and the best way for us to do that really is on social media these days. So that's why it's so important in that connect phase to connect your social media. That's how you attract them. And then maybe Aaron talk about how once someone is attracted through social media, because one of the big pieces of our business in a box is that social media sales system, how it brings them in, how they'll
100%.
become a contact, how we can then send them an email, and maybe just kind of give a little overview of that.
Yeah, let me I'll kind of give the framework idea, and then probably we could talk about the psychology of just why it works a little bit more in depth. But everybody should be, if we're not on social media, we absolutely all should be. Okay, it is free. It doesn't cost us anything. And the best way to, like Alanna says, attract is to put out what we offer, right? And the best way to do that today is social media. We are literally living in what I think is the golden age of marketing, not just marketing, but running a business, running a small business. Uh, 20, 30 years ago, think about what it would cost to get your message or your offer in front of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. It was very expensive, very time consuming. You had to be really, really good at it. Today, and anybody with this right here has access to millions of eyeballs for pennies on the dollar compared to what it costs. So embrace and use social media, please. And my my history is in paid ads, right? And for a very long time, I ignored social media until I couldn't ignore it anymore because I saw the results that people were getting, what they were doing, and how they were using it. So let's talk about the social sales system, which is a framework that we developed that, look, everybody's already posting, we're already putting our message out there. Let's turn our social media into a lead generation system. And the way that we do that, uh, and I've said this for a long time, the fastest path to cash is building a relationship and having conversations. The money is made when the bond is formed with our marketplace. And the number one way to do that is through conversation, right? Having a real conversation with somebody.
And how feminine is that, ladies? I mean, what do we love to do other than communicate and conversate and develop communities and be friends and friendly with our markets and potential clients? So this is exactly in alignment with who we are.
Yeah, yeah. So we're already active. We're already putting stuff out there, and what I have found to work is put out content that is authentic and genuinely helps your marketplace. And I've said this for a long time, and I adamantly believe that the amount of money that we make in business is in direct proportion to the amount of goodwill that we provide to our marketplace. Everything that we put out there that helps them is going to come back to us at least 10 times over. That's why I'm not one of those people that gate all of my important information. Anything that I learn, anything that I discover, I want to get that out there to the masses as fast as I can because I know that through the process of helping people, I will make more money. I will get more clients. Okay. And that's what we're doing with the social sales system is we're creating content that genuinely helps people and it's authentic to us and who we are and represents our values, right? And you put out the content, but rather than being salesy and markety and be like, hey, click this link and go here and buy my stuff, offer a conversation rather than a lead magnet. Say, hey, if you found this information useful, let me know down below and I'll send you some more stuff that I've worked on. Something along those lines. You're asking them to start a conversation with you. And that conversation is going to start when they reply, when they leave a message, right, to your post. So here's how we turn up the dial on this. We use AI and automation that's baked into our system that's constantly looking at our posts online. And as soon as someone makes a comment, our system recognizes that we got a comment. And then in the time frame that we decide, it will like their comment. It will then reply to their comment with not just one canned response, but with all of the responses can be completely different because it doesn't have just one canned response that it uses because it uses AI and it will read their message and it'll make a nice response. But it's always letting them know, number one, thanking them for their message. And then number two, letting them know that we're going to follow up and send them a direct message. If it's on Instagram, we're going to send them a DM. If it's on Facebook, we're going to send them a messenger, warming them up that we're going to contact them. Next stage in the process is the automation actually does send them a message and opens the conversation on that platform where they made their comment. And this is about getting that conversation started. And again, we're not just sending them a canned response, hey, click this link, yada, yada, yada. No, we're going to have an actual conversation and offer to give them more assistance or to show them how we can help them solve that thing that they're trying to solve. And in the process of doing that, it's going to acquire their lead information. It's going to get their name. It's going to get their email address. It can get their phone number so that we can follow up with a text message if we want to. It can get their WhatsApp information if we want to. If it's on Messenger and we want to say, hey, do you have an Instagram? If so, what's your Instagram handle? Right? We can collect all of the information that we want. And in the process of doing that, what we've just done is we've created that conversation, we've created that relationship and that bond with that person. Now they show up right here in our pipeline where they're going to show up as a conversation that turned into a lead from the social sales system. And then we just keep up that automation and however it is that whatever you're offering or whatever your particular process is of taking them from conversation to client or customer, that's what we build into the system. Now, this works so well that it is actually overtaking with some of the clients that I work with. They've dropped their ad spend completely and they just focus on this process because one of the things, there's a couple of things that we've noticed. Number one, in terms of sheer volume, we can get the same amount of volume, if not more, with the social sales system using organic posts than we can even with paid ads. And I mean, even with some of my clients that are spending tens of thousands of dollars per month, they have completely dropped a lot of their ad spend because of the sales volume that they're getting. Number two, the quality. The quality of the lead is so much better even than a paid ad. And particularly like with compared to like lead form ads on Facebook, it's not even comparable the quality of the leads because these people are engaged. And I guarantee you, the people that come from the social sales system, they're opening the emails at a far higher rate than people that come from a paid ad.
I think honestly, Aaron, this is one of the most exciting developments for us with this business in a box offering, and because it's working with something that I know that women are already doing. The women who are here, they're already on a social media platform. Now, I will always stress to everybody in here to not work harder, but work smarter. And this is so much smarter. You're already on Facebook, you're already on Instagram, you're already posting. And as one who has slogged through that paid ad gauntlet and spent more money than I would like to confess to in
Mhm.
to Google and Meta and all of that. Those are very aggressive kind of sales tactics when you're paying for ads, when you're marketing in that way. This allows us to stay in our feminine power, be natural, keep the posts exactly as we would, keep the conversation exactly as we would, create the community exactly as we would, and leverage that in such a way that it actually pulls people into our ecosystem in a way that is then monetizable. So the conversation stays the same. We're not doing anything more than we already are, and it attracts them into our world in a much more elegant and streamlined way. I absolutely love this element of our system here.
Yeah, and I don't know like and you'll have to tell me, how your community feels about using AI. I hear everything on the spectrum from absolutely hating it to thinking that it's the greatest thing in the world, and I don't think that either extreme right now is correct, but I don't know
Yeah.
where people fall.
I mean, I think, that might be kind of a personal preference for each of the women in here, but there's a place for everything and everything in its place. Like when we show up, when we choose to show up, obviously we want to show up in the most wholehearted, warm way possible, and there are things that can be, look, one of my greatest superpowers, Aaron, is outsourcing. I think you know this about me. I
Yeah.
love outsourcing. If there's something that I personally don't have to do because it would take me out of my zone of genius or pull me from something that I could be doing better, I will outsource it. So
Mhm.
perhaps, we show up in the posting of the social media, we show up live, we show up to our communities, and then the actual DM itself, maybe the original one is written by us and we let the magic of either AI or our system deliver it so that there's some
Mhm.
element, some bridge, some connection there. So that might be one way to kind of massage AI into the system a little bit if that's something that you want to explore. But again, that will always be up to the comfort level of how you want to run your business and also the kind of business you want to run. We are focusing primarily on the three things that I know women do best in the online space, which is memberships, building community,
Mhm.
coaching, one-on-one interpersonal transformational work, or online courses because we just love to teach. So those are the three business models primarily that we're building into our business in a box. So depending on
Mhm.
which one lights you up and which one you choose, you might decide on different techniques in terms of how much AI to bring in or not.
Yeah. Three fastest growing businesses right now that exist actually too, as
Yep.
well. The
Which
online
is why we're
coaching space,
here.
yeah. It's funny because it's like when you're kind of in it for so long, it's hard to imagine that like right now there's more coaching being sold than ever in the history. And we go back like a long time of doing it, but
Yeah.
now like it's projected to be like 4.5 times what it is right now in the next 3 years.
That's amazing, which is why I'm
Fascinating.
so glad we're starting this now. I want
Yeah.
all of our women to be on the ground floor of this because I know what it was like for me to be on the ground floor of the online yoga industry. I mean, at the beginning, I had to convince people that you could even learn yoga online. And then a few years later, that's the only place anybody was doing yoga. So to be an early adopter means that you are at the front edge of that wave, capturing all of the income and the impact before everybody else gets on the bandwagon. So we're really glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of getting back like the whole AI. Yeah, like we can train and teach the AI to be authentic
Mhm.
to your brand or your voice. It's a very important step in the process of how we build this out. So it's you don't have to be concerned about how it sounds or how it's going to communicate with your audience because it's pretty damn good. If
So
you dial it out right.
Aaron, you've done a great job of showing us like how to sign in, get those integrations done. Really, the most important first step is to connect those key pieces, your social media, your payment center. If you're on Google, your Google My
Mhm.
Business, whatever it is that you've got available to you, make sure you patch those in and connect them. Another very important piece I know is the website, the URL. Is that
Yep.
something, can they bring that in? Can they purchase it here? Where do they implement the URL? Because we've got to get your website live, ladies.
If one of the first steps that I recommend that everybody do is connect their domains. And if you go right to settings and you come down to domains, you can do one of two things. You can either connect your existing domain or you can purchase a domain directly through the system. I think it's like $11 or something like that per year. It's something marginal. The whole connecting a domain thing, you don't have to worry about knowing how to set up DNS records or anything like that. Our system will automate as long as your registrar is GoDaddy or Cloudflare, and there's one other, but I can't think of it. But those are the big two that almost everybody uses. We have a native integration with both of those platforms. So you simply just tell it what your domain is. It recognizes where your registrar is. It says, do you want to authenticate this? You say yes. It opens up a link between like, let's say GoDaddy and our system. You click yes. It says, okay, we're going to create your DNS records. And boom, within about 3 clicks and 45 seconds, your website's now connected to our system. And then you get to point it to either the funnel or the website
I love how
setting.
fast and easy that is. That's amazing. And the other thing, before we close out our webinar today, that I'd love to have you introduce people to, because I want them to get like the super first steps, like let's just get in, let's get started, let's get rolling. So connect your website, there's initial integrations. And then I did see that you had the business profile open. Can you
Yeah,
show us where that is
yes.
and how important that is to fill in?
One of the first three things that you should do is definitely connect your domain, connect your social media, and then come in here and finish the business profile settings. And it's super simple, nothing difficult. Just make sure that you fill out all of the areas. If you don't currently have an EIN, or if you're in the process of getting it, don't worry about it. We can always come back later and put in the business registration number. We just won't be able to do any text messaging marketing or create a phone number in the system until we have you can use like your social, but I tell people just don't just register a business and get an EIN. It's whole lot simpler. But yeah, just fill out the business information right in here. Connect your social media, connect your domain, and you are off to the races. After that, you simply can just come in and go to sites on the left-hand side. You'll automatically go to the funnels section. Uh, Pick the flavor of funnel that you like in here. These are 1 to 3 step funnels, and actually, I've got a couple more that I need to add into uh, the system here so that you can get access to them. But these are already built out. So this is like the paint by numbers
Mhm.
way to set up your funnel. You just pick out the one that you like, and then you come in here and you just change the words, change the color, change your logo. You're just swapping out stuff. That's all that you have to do.
So,
Um,
real talk, Aaron.
mhm,
Somebody signs up for the Business in a Box, joins our Satisfied Success Business Academy. From the moment they hit go to being able to drop in here and start building out their actual web page and their funnel, how long does that
mhm.
take, do you think?
I mean, okay, I mean, results may vary, but look, on average, like most of the funnels that I put in here, most of your 3 step funnels, you should be able to customize it in less than an hour. Uh,
Amazing.
yeah,
That's
I have a video and I'll drop it into the course section. I have a video where in live real time, I built a funnel, a form, and an automation from scratch. So the 3 most important elements of a funnel. I built it from scratch with no templates, and I did it in about 40 minutes. Now, of course, I know what I'm doing and I've done it a
well,
million
now you're just
times,
showing
right?
off.
No, it's not really about showing off, but I'm saying like the process is really that simple
Mhm.
because here's how I did it so fast. And it's really not about experience. You know what I did? I didn't overcomplicate it.
Yeah,
And I did the most important things that everybody needs.
yeah.
And I just left it at that.
I think that's a really beautiful thing to keep in mind and maybe to end on today is that we're really here to make this as easy as possible for you because that's going to help you stay in your zone of genius. And as the feminine, we want to stay in that zone of genius so that we can stay in our creative receptivity, create the abundance and attraction that we want. And it's not about doing more. It's not about overdoing anymore, ladies. You have already done too much. So we're going to keep things as simple as possible and create the fastest pathways to your success that we can.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for all of this, Erin. It's such an honor and a privilege to partner with you. And for all of the women here joining us, for all of them on the webinar and watching the replay, we're very grateful to have you as a part of this Business Academy experience.
1,000%. And I'm active in the community. If anybody needs anything or has questions, or if you get stuck somewhere, let us know in the community because I can drop into your actual sub account and fire up Loom and make a video showing you exactly how to do the thing that you need help with.
Yes, don't let overwhelm stop you. Back slowly away from the computer. Join us in the
Mhm.
community, and we are there to help.
1,000%.
All right, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll see you inside the Satisfied Success Business Academy.
All right. See y'all on the other side. Bye bye.